Hey everyone, it's Brody from Everything Board Games. Wyvern Gaming sent me a copy of Sojourn, so let's get it to the table. In Sojourn, you are a time traveler, and while traveling, you find yourself without your time sphere, and you find yourself stuck in the Jurassic period. The time sphere allows you to control the time portals and travel more freely. The sphere is broken into 4 fragments, and they are lost in random timelines throughout time. Sojourn is a solo card game where you're trying to uncover timelines and find the 4 time sphere cards so you can return back home. The game uses a dice mechanic where you roll the dice and see what percentage you have of getting to that unique destination. On each card, there's a percentage listed where you need to roll that percent or higher to get there without damage. If you roll under that, you will be dealt damage listed on that card, but still travel to that destination. As you see here, we have our starting card with our health here on the left and our temporal charges on the right. To win, you'll need to make sure that you don't lose all of your health cubes and make sure you have enough temporal charges to continue traveling and looking for the time sphere fragments. We start in the Jurassic period and with a random location placed above it. In this case, it's Jamestown. Each destination card will have similar icons laid out like this card. So to travel, you can only move to any cards in the timeline directly above your current location. If I wanted to travel to Jamestown, then I would cost me 4 time stream cards, as you see here. Now 4 of these is a lot because you only start with 5 of them. And so I'd have to choose 4 of these cards to discard and pay 4 temporal charges. And after doing that, I could actually travel to that location. I could then see what risk is associated with that location. In this card it says 0%, so I know I won't get any damage if I go there. But other cards might show different percentage, like this card shows 25% and this other one has 75%. If I was traveling to these cards, then I'd roll the dice, I'd add up the numbers, it would make a percentage out of 100, and if I roll above the percentage on the card, then no damage is done and I traveled there safely. If I rolled under, then I take the damage from what it says underneath. In this case, it would be a 2 damage, and I would lose that to my health. Then, after checking damage, the last icon is how many time stream cards you gain by visiting that location. If you decide you don't want to travel to any of the locations that are out currently, you can use a temporal charge and place a new location in the timeline above the timeline you are located at. So for me, where I'm located now, it would be next right here or here. If I was actually here, then I could pay my temporal charge and place a new destination here. When traveling to locations, you might draw a time fragment card. When this happens, you'll place the fragment, which is this green cube, and place it on your traveler card. When you get 4 of these, you win the game. You have your time stream cards, which can be used to pay a cost to travel to a destination, but you can also use the card for its ability. A bandage will add a health cube to your traveler card. A fracture card lets you add a destination without paying the temporal charge. A loop lets you travel to any destination opened in a timeline in the past. This card is great to use if you are on the timeline near the top and your choices for travel is limited. You can loop and look for a destination that is in the past. Well, luckily you can always be able to loop back to the Jurassic period. Paradox cards let you ignore the costs of a time stream card or temporal costs when traveling to the destination. So this might be great to use when you want to go to the stock market crash of 1929. Don't need to drop 3 cards and you don't need to pay the 4 temporal charges. There's no risk of damage, and you'll automatically gain another time stream card. Temporal batteries will restore a temporal charge, and you will add a blue cube back to your traveler card. Besides spending a temporal charge to open a new destination, every time you travel to a destination, you'll automatically add a new destination, always in the time stream above your current location. When time fragment cards are drawn, you'll place that card and then draw another card and place it above the time fragment card. So really, on your turn, you will either play one of your time stream cards, open a new destination, or travel to a destination. Anyways, this game is awesome, and I love how everything comes together so nicely. It's always fun to see what destination will pop up. Each card has a real date on them in an event, so it's really neat to think how you might be moving from a totally different decade to a new one. I usually am not a fan of dice, but it really adds some strategic thinking into your movement if you want to risk your health or not. You might still want to go to the destination with a high risk just to get the good payout, but you can always have a chance of hurting yourself. The time stream cards help you to do what you want, and you never get too stuck in the game and have no chance of winning. There's always a chance that you can pull it through. There are always times where you might travel to many of the same destinations due to the risk to payout ratio, and that's fine. Maybe you think the risk of other destinations aren't worth it, but it all depends on how much temporal charges and how much health you have to know which destination might be the best bet for you. So I'm not the biggest solo gamer, as I find myself a lot of times trying to finish the game as fast as I can and see my mistakes, and then I'll maybe cheat and go back and change the things that I was doing. But in this game, I enjoyed it. I sat there and dealt with my consequences for my actions. There was always the chance that I could still pull it through, but the game is very fun to play. The game doesn't take forever as well, and so if you do make mistakes when playing it, you can always just play it through and then play another game after that and learn from your mistakes. I would for sure recommend this game for solo gamers and even gamers who might be introduced to how to play a solo game. I actually had fun watching my wife play this game, and so it can be game played with more than one player, and everyone just talks together and decides together what actions to do and what destinations to visit. But again, this is a very fun game. This is Sojourn by Wyvern Gaming. If you like what you see, then go back it.